Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
Now, what is valency? Valency is the combining capacity of an atom of an element. Now, how do you determine what is the combining capacity of an element? It is determined by the number of electrons that are present in the outermost shell. Now, we know that what is an electronic configuration? Electronic configuration is the arrangement of electrons in different shells. This is how we had already learned it. Now, for example, if we take oxygen, we know that oxygen has got 8 electrons. So if I have to find out what is the valency of electron, then the valency of the electron is, we have to arrange it according to the electronic configuration, 2 and 6. So we see that in the K shell it has 2, L shell it has got 6. So 6 is the number of electrons that are present in the outermost orbit. Now this 6 electrons that are present, what happens according to the rules of writing the orbits, according to the rules of distribution of electrons, we know that the maximum number of electrons that is possible in the outermost orbit is 8. That means oxygen, the outermost orbit of oxygen is running short of 2 electrons. So what would it do? It is going to take in 2 electrons to make the outermost orbit to be 8. So because it is taking in 2 electrons to make a total of 8 electrons in the outermost orbit, thus the valency of oxygen is going to be 2. Why? Because the valence electrons, that is 2 electrons, needs to be added in the outermost orbit to make a total of 8 electrons in the outermost orbit. And because 2 electrons are taken up, so the valency is 2. Similarly, if we take chlorine, it has got 17. So K shell, what is the electronic configuration? 2, 8 and 7. Now in this case, we see in the outermost orbit, there are 7 electrons. That is, it is running short of 1 electron. So when it runs short of 1 electron, what does it do? It takes in another electron to make it a total of 8, and thus it becomes stable. So because it has taken up 1 electron, thus the valency becomes 1. Now if I take, these were 2 examples of non-metal. If I take an example of a metal like sodium with atomic number 11. So sodium has an arrangement 2, 8 and 1. Now in the outermost orbit it has got 1, and we know that a maximum of 8 has to be present. So what does sodium atom do? It readily loses an electron, and thereby it takes up an electronic configuration of 2 and 8. And because it has lost 1 electron, so the valency of sodium becomes 1. Now this is where in these 2 examples we saw that either it is gaining electron or losing an electron to have a maximum number of 8 in the outermost orbit. The maximum number of 8 electrons in the outermost orbit. In case of carbon, we know that the atomic number is 6, that is 2 and 4. Now in this case, we see that carbon, the second shell, that is the L shell, has got half the number of maximum 8 electrons. So what does carbon do? It neither gains electron nor does it lose electron. It simply shares electrons, and thus it takes up the configuration of 2 and 8. So because it is sharing pair electrons along with another atom, and thus the valency of carbon becomes 4. So here it clearly states that what are the valence electrons? Valence electrons are the number of electrons an atom would lose, gain or share to have a maximum of 8 electrons in the outermost orbit and thereby become stable. So, and this is how the valency is calculated. I hope this is clear.